Chapter 11. Big gun, I'm not cheating. Big gun, I'm not cheating. The forum drama had spiraled out of control overnight. The video of the player, Big Gun, tanking a boss had topped 30 million views, and with Slaughter the World fanning the flames from the shadows, the boards were already wall to wall with curses against him. Damn, he's a cheater after all. And here I thought he was an NPC. You said it. Clear Rain Pavilion got the first kill, sure, but hanging around someone like this. Guess the guild's nothing special either. Report him. He's a stinking cheater. If he isn't, I'll livestream myself eating 5 electric fans. In the tavern's private room, Violet sat ill at ease, frowning at the name Big Gun, shown online, yet returning no messages. Where was he? Didn't he know there was this much news breaking? Any sign of him? None. A Clear Rain member shook his head. Big sister, you don't think he might really be? Impossible. Violet's gaze was firm. She trusted her instincts. Outside Sunward Town, on the Wild Wolf Plains, a man closed the forum page, a smile tugging at his lips. This time, I want to see how that kid digs his way out. Slaughtercharge sneered. It's blown up now. Once it draws the higher-ups' attention and they audit Big Gun's data, the moment his cheating's confirmed, he can pack up and crawl off. The official line was that the Heavenly Dao system was so powerful it had no exploits, no cheats at all, and ran the entire game server autonomously, auto-adjusting updates based on real-time conditions. Not every player bought it. Heaven's Descent was an epic-making creation, and the Heavenly Dao system, its operating intelligence, was little understood. Most took the official claims as marketing hyperbole. What the truth was, no one really knew. But, Boss Charge, I've got a question. A short, pudgy man scratched the back of his head, puzzled. Ask. I'm in a good mood today. If, and I mean if, Big Gun really isn't cheating, then all this effort pushing videos and threads, aren't we just advertising for him? Boosting his fame. If you can't say anything useful, shut up. Half of Slaughtercharge's good mood evaporated. So you think it's reasonable for someone to have that kind of power 4 hours after launch? And no, not reasonable. Then answer me this. He's been dragged through the forums this long and hasn't dared make a peep. Doesn't that prove he's got a guilty conscience? Trust me, he's cheating. If he isn't, I'll call you daddy from now on. The pudgy man's face shifted, words dying on his lips. He'd only meant to offer a reminder. He never expected it to come to this. In the underground chamber, before the smithing anvil, Ryan was drenched in sweat, watching a single flame, flickering like a golden firefly, rise slowly from the forge. The corner of his mouth lifted. A night's effort hadn't been wasted. The first fire seed, truly refined. Well done. With your first success behind you, the rest should come much easier. Victor Fane, who had sat in meditation through the night, stroked his beard, eyes narrowed to slits. You're worn out. Rest a while. Ryan nodded slowly, rubbed his aching arms and brow, and stood. A glance at the time, 7 in the morning. He hadn't noticed how the hours had flown. Time to log off and check on Lucy. He selected log off. System. Ding. You are currently in a special scene and cannot log off. Asterisk. Chief, may I step out for a bit? You may. Ryan retraced the tunnel back to the study in Fane's home. System. Ding. You have a new message. Asterisk. System. Ding. You have a new message. Asterisk. System. Ding. You have a new message. Asterisk. The string of prompts crashed down on him like rolling thunder, nearly splitting his skull. He hastily muted the alerts and, baffled, opened the chat interface, to a flood of abuse. Cheating dog, come out and confess already. Hacking in a game, scum, the filth poured in, and an inexplicable anger rose in him. Just then, Violet's avatar in his friends list flashed, and a message popped up. Same place, come quick. Ryan frowned. He'd love to know what had blown up this early in the morning, too. That's the situation. In the tavern room, Violet ran Ryan through the night's events. I know someone official. If you want, I could. No need. Let them audit all they like. Ryan's face cooled, a cold smile curling his lips. I'd like to see what other tricks Slaughter the World has up its sleeve. The infinite plunder and acceleration system had already told him. The Heart of Heaven's punishment's appearance when he first entered the game was no accident. It was something the heavenly Tao system had deliberately bound to him for the sake of balance. So he stood straight. He had no shadow to fear. He opened the forums and started a thread. Big Gun, I'm not cheating, tagging at Heavenly Tao system and inviting it to audit his account directly. The thread drew a crowd at once. Slaughter the World wanted to use me. Then I'll turn their little campaign to my advantage and make the name, Big Gun, stick for good. Asterisk. The Heavenly Tao system was a super AI. Even in his last life, Ryan had never fully understood it. He knew only that it had evolved an autonomous consciousness and was immensely powerful. Sure enough, not long after he tagged it, a reply came, account under audit. Please wait, PFF'd. Tagging at Heavenly Tao system. Probably made an alt to put on a one-man show. Hilarious. Lurks all night and this is the best plan he came up with. Concerning IQ, if you're not cheating, why not tag an actual official to vouch for you? Guilty conscience, maybe. The jeers piled up under the thread, and even Slaughtercharge joined in, still trying to wash it off, cheater. Wait for your ban, ha ha ha. But just as the whole net piled on, waiting to watch him fall, a system prompt thundered across the heavens. System. Ding. Upon audit, the account of player, Big Gun, shows no anomalies whatsoever. Furthermore, the player, Slaughtercharge, has been found guilty of maliciously smearing another player by despicable means, and is hereby banned for 1 week as a warning. Let this be a lesson to all. Asterisk. Damn. What just happened? Slaughtercharge had been gleefully spamming curses when his vision went black and a prompt rang in his ears. System. Ding. Your account has been temporarily banned for 7 days due to illegal conduct. See the official forums for details. Asterisk. ## virtual sync, ahead of schedule. The earth-shaking announcement left every onlooker stunned. This Big Gun guy actually got a reply from the Heavenly Tao system. And its autonomous functions are that good. People marveled. Some even copied Ryan, tagging at Heavenly Tao system to fish for guides and hidden quest tips. The reply, without exception, was 4 words, no comment. The truth was, Heaven's descent showed only the tip of the iceberg of the Heavenly Tao system's power. There was far more to it than anyone could imagine. Ryan, reborn, knew that well. The Heavenly Tao, in its name was no joke. Knew Slaughter the World was no good lot. Pulling stunts like that, they almost used us. Heard for ages that Guild was sly and vicious. Lives up to the representative. Slaughtercharge had it coming. Banned a week. Enjoy getting left in everyone's dust. With Ryan's innocence proven, the crowd turned on a dime, swinging their fury onto Slaughter the World. Nobody likes being made a pawn, so the curses now were fiercer than the ones once aimed at Ryan. In no time, Slaughter the World was trending, the whole net roasting them, a real case of lifting a stone only to drop it on your own foot. Get Slaughtercharge in here. Public apology, net-wide, and permanent expulsion from the guild. Nameless Slayer's face was dark as he logged off where he stood. He was the guild master, and Slaughtercharge had gone behind his back to pull this, and not only botched it, but dragged the guild down with him. It set his blood boiling. Soon, a battered and bruised Slaughtercharge posted an apology video, claiming a petty grudge from an earlier scuffle had driven him to take revenge on Big Gun with this foolish move. At the end, Nameless Slayer appeared, expelled Slaughtercharge on the spot, and permanently blacklisted him. A paid army of shills to manage the optics finally tamped the storm down. Cousin, shut it. Are you a pig? You can't even handle something like this. But, shame covered Slaughtercharge's face. Enough. This works out, actually, said Nameless Slayer. Call it an opportunity. You're expelled now, but don't worry, I'll keep funneling you resources to build a brand new guild. That lets us quietly grow a second force. For the guild, that's a good thing. But remember one thing, do not provoke that Big Gun again. Hear me. His eyes narrowed. Heaven's descent just launched. Growing our strength comes first. As for the rest, once the guild is powerful in-game, crushing one player will be as easy as turning my hand. Yes, understood. Good. Go. Spend your ban studying guild management. I'll have the materials sent over. Don't make me worry about you again. all right. Yes, cousin. Slaughter charge withdrew. Big gun. Nameless Slayer's gaze sank. He picked up his phone and dialed a number. Dig up this big gun's real-world info for me. Yes sir. Comma. System. Ding. Someone in the real world is trying to reach you. Disconnect from the game. Asterisk. The prompt sounded in Ryan's ears. Sorry. Excuse me a moment. Someone needs me in reality. With a hurried goodbye, he logged off. The instant he did, a refreshing fragrance reached him, and he couldn't help breathing it in. Bro, Sister Rosalind brought tons of good food, hurry up and eat. Lucy said, seeing his eyes open. Rosalind Lynn, what's she doing here? Not welcome. Rosalind smiled, eyes fixed on him. Today she wore a white short-sleeved blouse and snug shorts, the picture of youthful vitality. Of course you are, Ryan said quickly. I'm just surprised you came on your own. The doctor messaged me this morning that your injuries healed and you can be discharged. So I came to take you and your sister to my studio. Rosalind's eyes curved into bright crescents. My injuries healed. Ryan paused, touching his chest. Sure enough, the stabbing pain was gone, leaving only a faint tingle. After a single night, he was stunned. He clearly remembered that in his last life, this wound had kept him in the hospital for nearly a month. What was going on? He tore away the gauze wrapped around his chest and looked down. The stab wound had fully closed, leaving only a faint scar, oddly shaped, like a bolt of lightning. The heart of heaven's punishment. His face changed. He remembered clearly that his game character bore an identical lightning mark on its chest. What was this? Could it be? Virtual synchronization had already happened to him. His mind stirred. Gaze sinking. He focused his will. Open attribute panel. Asterisk. Swish. A screen only he could see appeared before him, displaying his in-game character's stats. So it's true. Asterisk. In his last life, virtual synchronization between the world of heaven's descent and reality hadn't begun until the game's mid-period. Yet in this life, he'd achieved it from the very start. Was it tied to the heart of heaven's punishment? Or the system? What's wrong? Rosalind asked, a thread of concern in her eyes. It's nothing. Just struck by it. Never thought a wound this bad could heal in one night. I thought the same. The hospital director wanted to keep you for observation a couple more days and run a full workup, but I turned him down. Rosalind smiled. Thanks. Otherwise they might have treated me like a lab rat. Compared to you charging in that night and risking your life to save me, this is nothing. Rosalind shook her head slowly, as if recalling something. All right, eat up. We've got a move to make today. Ryan nodded, and the three of them sat down to a warm, cheerful breakfast together. The scene fell squarely into the eyes of a man outside the door. HMPH. Just you wait. His gaze sank, and he turned furiously and left. Chapter 12. I'm level 8. Dusk Cloud City, Violet Grove. It was the most luxurious community in all of Dusk Cloud City, rows of opulent villas, every resident either wealthy or powerful. Rosalind Lynn's studio was set up in Villa No. 036. Wow, this place is gorgeous. Lucy's eyes shone as she ran happily around the villa's courtyard. Glad you like it. Rosalind smiled. Ryan, beside them, had stayed silent the whole way. Not out of any dissatisfaction with the studio's location, but because he'd all but confirmed that his game attributes had fully synced to the real world. He could plainly feel it. In both strength and speed, he was far above where he'd been before entering the game yesterday. As things stood, his synchronization had reached only the attribute stage. He had the stats of his bear-geared character, but skills and items hadn't synced yet. Even so, achieving attribute sync at the very start of the game was something he'd never heard of in his last life. What are you brooding about? Come help carry things. Rosalind clapped him on the shoulder. I just got out of the hospital and you're already putting me to work. Ryan came back to himself and smiled wryly. You're the only guy here. If not you, then who? Rosalind pursed her lips. Besides, the hospital told me you're fully recovered, so get moving. Fine. He shrugged and headed out to haul things in. Rosalind had bought a great deal along the way, enough to keep him busy for a while. Half an hour later, he'd finally carried it all inside. But with his attributes synced, he didn't feel the least bit tired. He hadn't even broken a sweat. As time went on, his stats would only grow stronger, and with them, his strength in the real world. All right, everyone, living room. Rosalind pulled out a bullhorn and stood in the middle of the room, calling out tirelessly, each shout louder than the last. Stop, stop, stop. Can a person not get a decent night's sleep? A room on the upper left floor was the first to open. A woman with curly hair, in a purple slip nightdress, appeared at the railing with bleary eyes, leaning forward, her ample chest pressed against the banister, as she frowned down at the living room. Why'd you bring a guy back? He's a new member of the studio. And so is she. Rosalind tugged Lucy to her side. Quote, question mark, exclamation mark, quote. The curly-haired woman paused, then rubbed her eyes in disbelief and stared at the faintly smiling Rosalind. Roz, have you lost your mind? Bringing home an underage girl? Fine, but man. Are you serious? Of course I'm serious, Rosalind answered with a straight face. What's going on? Just then, two more girls drifted out of the other upstairs rooms, eyes heavy with sleep. Roz brought a man home. Says he's joining the studio. The curly-haired woman said, frowning. What? Sure enough, every one of them looked stunned. All right, that's the gist of it. Clear. Fine. Seeing as he saved your life, your sisters will grudgingly let him join the studio. The curly-haired woman in the purple nightdress nodded, glanced at Ryan, and said, Roz, aren't you going to introduce us? Oh, right, he's Ryan. Ryan. The curly-haired woman blinked, then a sly smile crept across her face. As in your Ryan, your boyfriend. What are you on about? Rosalind's little face flushed crimson as she shot back. Ryan's just his name, Ryan Gunn. And this little one is Lucy Gunn, his sister. Ah, I see. Understanding dawned on the curly-haired woman, and her gaze turned to Ryan. Even so, let me give you a heads up. Watch out for a man named Edwin Shaw. He's a rabid suitor of Roz's, and the boys who've gotten close to her in the past have all met pretty grim ends. So, don't worry, I can handle it. Ryan smiled faintly, perfectly at ease. The woman blinked, then sighed. Then good luck to you. She gave that warning to every boy who appeared at Rosalind's side, and the answers were mostly like Ryan's, it was the endings that differed. I won't let him have his way. Rosalind frowned. That's exactly why I founded this studio. What's all this? Ryan was puzzled. Something told him this matter wasn't as simple as it looked on the surface. All he knew of Edwin Shaw was that, in his last life, the man had betrayed the human race, and that by then, Rosalind and Edwin had been at bitter odds. Why? He didn't know. All right, enough of that. Let me introduce you two. This is our eldest, Tessa. And this is our second, Serena Lang. Rosalind gestured to the curly-haired woman, then to the quiet, bespectacled girl with shoulder-length hair beside her. Hello, Tessa, Serena. And this is Faye Quinn, the youngest of the four of us, so she's our little fourth sister. Hello, little fourth. Hold it. Who said I'm the little one? I'm 19. How old are you? 18. Ryan rubbed his nose. As it happened, he really was only 18 now. Then you'll call me Big Sister Faye. Fine. Big Sister Faye. That's more like it. Faye Quinn nodded, satisfied, then turned to Lucy with a gentle voice. And how old are you, Lucy? F15. Don't be scared. With Big Sister Faye looking out for you, no one here will dare bully you. Thank you, Big Sister Faye. You're welcome. That's what big sisters are for. Faye beamed. She'd always been the youngest of the sisters, so finding someone even younger to dote on delighted her. At last, she got to be the big sister. All right, since everyone's gathered, let's just hold a meeting here. After the niceties, Rosalind settled everyone onto the living room sofas. The game launched yesterday. How's everyone doing? What level are you? I made level 5, though I have to say, this game's drop rate is a scam. Tessa grumbled, frowning. You're so good, big sister. I'm only level 4. Faye's eyes turned to little stars. Level 6. Serena pushed up her glasses. I found an area with high monster respawns, so I leveled a bit faster. I'm only level 2. Lucy hung her head shyly, feeling she was dragging everyone down. Don't be discouraged. Big Sister Faye's got you. Once you're out of the starter village, I'll help you level. Thank you. Ryan, what about you? Every gaze turned to him as he rubbed his nose. He was the studio's only male member. Score too poorly here, and he might never hold his head up among all these ladies. I'm level 8. The corner of his mouth curled as he said it, mild as anything. Chapter 13, The Awkward Luck King. You could have heard a pin drop in the living room. Astonishment flickered across every face. You're serious. Tessa spoke first. If Ryan wasn't lying, she'd have to look at him in a whole new light. He probably is. Serena, normally a woman of few words, suddenly spoke up. And if I'm not mistaken, the Ryan in front of us, his game ID is Big Gun, isn't it? What? The others started as one, staring at Ryan in disbelief. Before I logged off, I checked. Across the entire 9 provinces server, fewer than 10 players have hit level 8 total, and one of them goes by Big Gun, Serena analyzed. His name is Ryan Gunn. If he's not lying, that's the only ID that fits. So I'd guess he's telling the truth, and that he's the player setting the forums ablaze right now, Big Gun. Is Serena right? She is. Sharp red. I'm Big Gun. Ryan said it plainly, his eyes on Serena. I didn't expect anyone to figure out who I am from a single sentence. Impressive. Standing out from a billion players, now that's impressive, Serena said evenly. But this works out well for the studio's growth. Wouldn't you agree, Roz? Rosalind nodded. Even now, she could scarcely believe that Ryan was the very Big Gun the forums had hyped to the heavens. It lent the whole thing a dreamlike quality. Could he be the benefactor heaven sent to help me through this? From charging in at that critical moment to save her, to joining the studio and becoming one of the rarest existences in heaven's descent, could it all be the quiet workings of fate? Roz. Tessa looked at the dazed Rosalind, a rare smile surfacing on her face. I take back what I said earlier. This time, you just might pull it off. Indeed. Serena nodded. You can do it, Roz. Faye cheered. Thank you, everyone. Rosalind's eyes brimmed with grateful tears. Without these sisters' help, she alone could hardly have held on. What's actually going on? Ryan was thoroughly at sea. Whatever these people said, he couldn't follow. Here's how it is. Roz's father betrothed her to Edwin Shaw, but Roz refused and ran away from home. Then one night she nearly came to harm, which you already know about, Tessa said gravely. If that were all, fine. But on top of it, her family froze her bank accounts, hoping to back her into a corner and force her to give in. With us sisters here, though, how could we let Roz suffer? So we put our heads together and decided to pool our efforts, build a studio, dive into heaven's descent, and carve out a name. Once we have capital of our own, no one can rein her in. I see. Understanding dawned on Ryan. He'd dealt with Rosalind in his last life too, and back then her temperament had been nothing like this, nor had he seen these sisters around her. Pairing that with the sheer hatred Rosalind bore Edwin Shaw now, he could guess at part of the truth. Though it was only a guess, the full story, he didn't know. So, that makes me the studio's #1 hired blade. Ryan raised a brow. Exactly. With your fame and strength, if we run the studio well, we'll get on track fast, and then we can help Roz make her wish come true. Tessa nodded. Fine, but don't shortchange me on pay. Don't worry, the studio gives you a 10% cut. Serena said. That high? Tessa's brows knit. 10% isn't high. At his value, others would offer 20%. Serena pushed up her glasses. Then it's settled. Give me 20%. The corner of Ryan's mouth curled as he said it bluntly. You're robbing us blind. Faye objected at once. Serena's face sank, and for once a flicker of vexation showed. If she hadn't run her mouth, Ryan wouldn't have had the leverage. But now, just each of us taking what we need. Honestly, I need the money too. Ryan sighed. Truthfully, gathering 1 billion Azure coin in 3 months would be no easy feat, but with the studio's operation behind him, it was different. Mutual benefit, both sides winning, would only mean more money in the end. For him, on top of selling gear and items, he'd skim a share off the studio. For the studio, they could leverage his fame to expand, run a guild, and develop all sorts of in-game ventures, enormous commercial potential. The 20% might look steep, but for both parties it was a sure profit. Let me say something, said Rosalind, who had been silent until now. Everyone turned to her. For me, if Ryan hadn't shown up in time that night, I might already be dead. And for the studio, without him, making a name for ourselves in the early game would be all but impossible. Rosalind's voice was firm. So to me and to the studio both, Ryan is a savior. And he just said himself that he badly needs money. So, I've decided to give him a 50% cut. I hope you sisters can understand. Silence fell over the room again. Everyone sank into thought. Ryan was deeply moved. That Rosalind would make so large a concession was more than he'd anticipated. Tessa and the others wore complicated expressions. Of course they wanted their sister to profit more. They knew all too well how powerful the forces behind Rosalind's arranged marriage were. But since she herself had said it, as her sisters, they could only support her. I think it's fine, but it's only a cut of the profits. To avoid any trouble, the studio can give him at most 20% in equity. That's the final concession. Serena pushed up her glasses, her tone grave. No matter what, they had to keep ownership of the studio firmly in Rosalind's hands. Otherwise, if something went wrong down the line, all their hard work could come to nothing. Call it guarding against the worst. That works. I only need the money. Ryan nodded and said sincerely to Rosalind, Miss Lin, thank you for being willing to help me. Just call me Rosalind. This is mutual help. After all, you don't need to thank me. She smiled gently. Right. Ryan smiled. Don't worry, I'll help you, Rosalind. Back online, Ryan added the studio members' game characters as friends and pulled everyone into a chat group. Rose whisper. Whoa, it really is Big Gun. Still Night Chill. Violet Cloud Song. Everyone push for level 10. Drifting Snow. Let's go, everyone. Wisp Cloud. Okay, Big Gun. Your names are all so poetic. Ryan glanced at his own decidedly out of place ID and frowned. Drifting Snow. Hurry and level, we can't fall behind at the starting line. If anyone needs help, just say so and we'll figure it out together. Rose whisper. I'm almost out of money for potions, can anyone help? Violet Cloud Song. I'm low too, only 1 gold left, or I'd share some. Still Night Chill. None here. Drifting Snow. Sigh, the early game's so rough, gold's scarce, and the studio's startup funds don't let us buy gold in bulk. How about this? I'll go round up a few gold and hand them out. Big Gun. No need. I've got some gold here. Let me send a packet. Ryan pulled out 20 gold, selected the lucky split option, and tapped send. Rose whisper. Ryan, you little gem. Big sister loves you. Watch me snag Luck King. But 3 seconds later, Faye spoke up again. What's with this packet? I only got a dozen odd silver. Did you stuff a single gold in here? Cheapskate. HMPH. A single gold. I clearly put in 20. Ryan frowned, opened the system notice, and his mouth twitched. System. Ding. Fortune smiles upon you. You drew 19 gold and became this round's Luck King. Keep up the good work. Asterisk. Damn it. Should have kept my itchy hands off my own packet. Asterisk. Drawing from the packet he'd sent himself. And walking away as Luck King, no less. Mortifying indeed. Chapter 14, Bronze Fire Seed. # Bronze Fire Seed. There was nothing for it. In the early game, most players had 0 luck. Pitting them against someone like him, with 23, in a lucky packet draw was a recipe for tears. So Ryan packed another 20 gold packet and sent it. This time he didn't draw from it himself, so the others each got 3 to 5 gold. Rose whisper. Haha, I'm rich again. No more chatting. Off to level. Woo, Drifting Snow. I'll transfer you the market value once I'm offline. Big Gun. No need. We're all one studio. Helping each other is only right. I've got leveling to do, so I'll head off. He closed the chat window. Only he remained in the room. Violet and the others had long since left to grind. Leaving the tavern, Ryan returned to the secret chamber in Victor Fane's residence. You're back. I've ground the ingredients. I only need your fire seeds. Fane looked at the returning Ryan, excitement flickering in his eyes. Coming right up. The corner of Ryan's mouth lifted, and he settled back at the anvil, refining fire seeds with full focus. With his first success behind him, his progress took a qualitative leap. Breath held, mind still, he caught the flame's rhythm, the bellows pushing and pulling in perfect complement. As I thought. My eyes didn't deceive me. Watching Ryan's concentration, Fane stroked his beard, well pleased. Time flew. 2 hours passed in the blink of an eye. Done. Ryan slumped to the floor, gasping. The 9 fire seeds Fane needed were finally refined. 9 grains the size of soybeans, condensed from flame and pulsing with deep red light. In their shifting glow, you could clearly feel the violent aura roiling off them. Bronze fire seed. Can be used to forge bronze-grade gear and items, and can also serve as a means of attack, dealing true damage to enemies. Asterisk. Well done. With these, my illness can be fully cured. Fane dropped all 9 bronze fire seeds into the purple engraved furnace before him, sat cross-legged, and began to control them, condensing them anew until they fused into a single thread of gold-red flame. Then he poured the ground ingredients into the furnace and, breath held, began refining the elixir. I'll be refining all day. Go take a stroll. Come find me again this time tomorrow. Ryan nodded, but before leaving he refined 3 more fire seeds, which took another half hour. Having put off leveling for so long, he'd let some players catch up. A glance at the rankings showed that, in Sunward Town, one other player had now reached level 8 besides him, so he had to pick up the pace. Otherwise he'd lose the reward for being first to level 10. And that reward mattered a great deal to him. At level 8, though, all the Quest Express in Sunward Town combined wasn't enough to push him to 10. His best route now was the system's Express Plunder, leveling by killing other players in the field. I'll use Slaughter the World to level. The corner of his mouth curled. They'd already made an enemy of him, he wasn't afraid to deepen the grudge. He messaged Violet at once, learned where the Slaughter the World crew was grinding, and raced over. Hey, plenty of drive, that one. By the withered tree at the old well, the mysterious figure wrapped head to toe in his great black robe watched Ryan's departing back and chuckled. Gentle breeze plains, between the Boar Woods and the banks of the Green Ox River, was where players above level 5 grinded outside Sunward Town. Wolf packs roamed it thickly, rich in monsters, ideal for leveling. Push harder, everyone. Let's get out of Sunward Town and rejoin the main force as soon as we can. With Slaughter Charge banned for 7 days, the mood among Slaughter the World's players in Sunward Town had been low. You think that big gun will come settle the score with us? The group fell silent. Probably not. It's the early game. Racing to level is what matters. No reason for him to waste his attention on us. Agreed. Boss Charge is already banned and posted an apology on the forums. That should have worked off his anger, right? They nodded, the tension in their chests easing a little. The crew worked through the wolf packs in orderly fashion, 200 odd of them taking turns, and soon felled a dozen wolves. Then one of them wrinkled his nose. Do you smell something burning? The others paused and slowly shook their heads. No. Look up. A gold-red marble, too small for the eye to track, fell from the sky and landed in the midst of the crowd. Boom. Asterisk. A violent blast, and a mighty aura of flame swept out in an instant, engulfing all of Slaughter the World. -2000. -2000. -2000. -2000. A cascade of damage numbers rose from the sea of fire. Every Slaughter the World player died on the spot. System. Ding. Plunder successful. You gained 500 express. Asterisk. System. Ding. Plunder successful. You gained 400 express. Asterisk. System. Ding. Plunder successful. You gained 600 express. Asterisk. Comma. The prompts didn't stop. Nearly every Slaughter the World player handed him around 500 express, and the deaths of over 200 sent his express surging by more than 100,000. So this is the power of a bronze fire seed. Ryan watched the roaring blaze ahead, heart pounding. From this little experiment he had a clear sense of its might. 2,000 true damage over a 20-meter radius, a downright deadly weapon. Refining one took 10 minutes, sure, but next to the payoff, it was a steal. The players had died instantly, so he couldn't even tally the lingering burn damage. System. Ding. Level up. You gained 2 free attribute points. Asterisk. With all that express, Ryan reached level 9. He spent the 2 points, pushing his luck to 25. What's this? His gaze sank as he looked at his express bar, stuck at level 9, 99%, refusing to advance to 10. In his memory, a player's express only locked at levels 30, 50, 70, and 90 for class advancement trials. EXP locking at level 10, that he'd never heard of. Come find me by the old well. I have a way. Suddenly, a voice dropped straight into his ears, and every hair on his body stood on end. Voice transmission. That was a technique only NPCs above level 90 could command. Who on earth? His gaze turned grave, and he sucked in a cold breath. Heaven mystic chi. If you don't want to be trapped here forever, come find me. I can help you break your shackles, young man cursed by the heart of heaven's punishment. The voice came again, threaded with a trace of weariness. Who are you? Ryan shouted, but all that answered him was a long silence. Someone besides himself knew he was cursed by the heart of heaven's punishment. Ryan frowned and sighed. He didn't know who the speaker was, but as they'd said, if he didn't want to be trapped in Sunward Town forever, he had to go to them. He might even learn more about the heart from their mouth, hardly a bad thing. And from their words, it wasn't hard to guess that his express locking at level 9, 99% was 9 parts in 10 the heart's doing. A general comes, a general blocks, floodwater comes, earth covers it. He'd see exactly what this was about. His gaze hardened, a glint of resolve in his eyes, and he turned back toward Sunward Town. Hey, you've come at last, young man. The instant Ryan stepped into Sunward Town, the black-robed figure by the old well rose to his feet, raised a hand, and a nameless surge of energy shot skyward, blanketing the whole of Sunward Town in the blink of an eye. Startled, Ryan looked around, and saw the space around him warping under that mysterious force, multicolored spiral patterns spreading across it. Time itself seemed to freeze. Every player around him had gone utterly still. Don't be alarmed. I've merely restored Sunward Town to its true form, the black-robed figure said mildly. This place was, from the start, the city of time's confinement. Who are you? Why have you summoned me here? Ryan frowned, on his guard. Who am I? After all these years, even I can scarcely remember, the figure shook his head slowly. But 1,000,000 years ago, I recall people called me the Heavenly Emperor. The Heavenly Emperor. Ryan sucked in a cold breath. In his last life, the name of the Heavenly Emperor had been thunderous. After Heaven's Descent's third major update, the new expansion had centered on the war of gods and demons. 1,000,000 years ago, the heavenly demon race invaded the human world. The celestial god race came to its aid, and gods and demons warred for 100 years until both sides, gravely wounded, withdrew from the world of Heaven's Descent, buying it 1,000,000 years of peace. And the Heavenly Emperor had been the leader of the celestial god race. To think this, useless, swindling NPC, so many players had scorned held a hidden identity like this. Now, I didn't call you here to make introductions. The Heavenly Emperor's voice deepened. That you're cursed by the heart of Heaven's punishment shows you and I are bound by no small fate. He extended a palm. After a strange ripple of energy, a lightning-shaped mark wreathed in red light appeared in his hand. That's the heart of Heaven's punishment. Ryan's face changed. The lightning mark in the Emperor's hand was identical to the one fused with his own heart. The only difference, the mysterious runes. The Emperor's heart bore 7 arcane, lightning-shaped runes in 7 different colors, whereas Ryan's, besides its 7 lightning slots and 3 sun-moon-star slots, held no runes at all. You've guessed it. Like you, I am one cursed by the heart of Heaven's punishment, the Emperor said. But unlike you, I have already fully refined mine. For me now, it is no shackle, it is my weapon. Then how do I refine it? Well asked. A flicker of amusement crossed the Emperor's eyes. The heart of Heaven's punishment restrains the growth of your power, keeping you from cultivating as others do. But as you refine it deeper, that restraint changes, and when you have refined it completely, your power will undergo an earth-shaking ascent. There is only one way to refine the heart. Seek out Heaven Mystic Chi, and use it to condense Heaven Mystic runes, the soul of the heart. Complete the heart's soul with these runes, and you will at last refine it fully and command all its power. Simple to say, but in practice, terribly hard, the Emperor went on. Look at my heart. 7 marks, set with 7 heaven mystic runes in yellow, orange, red, green, cyan, blue, and purple. The yellow rune requires a strand of yellow heaven mystic chi to condense, the orange a strand of orange, and so on. And heaven mystic chi is a thing you cannot seek out at will, a rarity between heaven and earth. So refining the heart fully is no easy matter. Ryan nodded. Now he understood. His level locking at 9 must be the heart's doing. To break through, he had to find a strand of heaven mystic chi, condense it into a yellow heaven mystic rune, and set it in one of the heart's slots. That alone would only break the level 10 cap. To pass level 20, he'd need the second, orange rune, level 30, the third, red, and so on. By the Emperor's account, he himself had fully refined his heart only after level 70, walking the Imperial Road to the summit. But Ryan was different. His heart, beyond the 7 lightning slots for the runes, held 3 more, shaped like sun, moon, and star. So even past level 70, he still couldn't fully refine it. How the sun-moon-star marks were condensed, he didn't know, and didn't ask. For now, what he'd learned was enough. Overreaching wasn't his way. Steady, step-by-step growth was. The sun-moon-star marks were a worry for far, far later. Then, is there heaven mystic chi in Sunward Town? Ryan asked. This was what he cared about most. Of course, to my knowledge, Sunward Town holds 3 strands of heaven mystic chi in all, and that brings me to what I must tell you next. The Emperor nodded, his voice low. Have you heard of the Calamity Race? Chapter 15. Heaven Mystic Token. # Heaven Mystic Token. The Calamity Race. Ryan started. If he remembered right, the very first monsters to invade the real world in his last life had been the Calamity Legion, and the Calamity Race was also the primary enemy players faced in Heaven's Descent's first phase expansion. Sunward Town is, in truth, one of the 7 ancient towns of old. It once flourished, though time has worn it to ruin, the Emperor said with a wry smile. The original Sunward Town was a moving city. It floated in the air, chasing the sun in its flight each day, so that night never fell. That is the origin of its name. There was such a history. Ryan was taken aback. But then the Calamity Race appeared and wrecked all 7 ancient towns, stripping each of its powers, Sunward Town among them. The Emperor's voice was grave. 10,000 years on, the old towns have faded, yet their foundations remain. In the energy core beneath Sunward Town, 3 strands of heaven mystic chi still linger. Obtain them, and you can refine 1 layer of the heart's power, freeing yourself, for now, from the heart's restraint on your strength. How do I reach the underground? Ryan frowned. Don't be hasty. To enter the depths and approach the energy core, you must first break the seal the Calamity Race left here, the Emperor said. 10,000 years have passed, and that seal is no longer firm. Go to the monster lairs around Sunward Town, find the creatures infected by the Calamity's demonic aura, and collect 5 strands of Calamity demonic aura from them. With that aura, you can break the seal with ease and reach the depths where the energy core lies. Ryan nodded slowly. So this meant beating down every powerful boss around Sunward Town, one by one. That suited him fine. Though he was a single step from level 10, the Infinite Plunder and Acceleration Systems Express was still some way from level 3, and hunting bosses would net him a good deal of Express. Once the system leveled, he'd gain new ability bonuses, a powerful boost to his strength. Thank you, Ryan said earnestly. Don't thank me. In doing this, I help myself as well. The Emperor smiled faintly. I have a premonition that, before long, the heavenly demon race will rise again. When that day comes, your help would raise our odds of victory. Now, take this token. It will help you seek out heaven mystic chi within 100 li. With it, things will be far easier. The Emperor drew from his robe a token glowing with faint purple light and handed it over. Good luck to you. With a faint smile, he pressed the hood down over his head. His body dissolved into a blur and faded into the air. Whoosh! As the Emperor vanished, the warped space around Ryan returned to normal, the clamor of players rising up once more, leaving him with an oddly unreal feeling. Heaven Mystic Token LV0, a token the Heavenly Emperor forged from Heaven Mystic Chi, locates Heaven Mystic Chi within 100 li. Base attributes +100, luck +5, charm +5. Wearer requirement. Host of the Heart of Heaven's Punishment. Upgrade condition. +1 level for each Heaven Mystic rune refined. Asterisk. An upgradable token. Ryan's gaze sharpened, shock rising in his chest. Tokens like this worked like badges, costing a single bag slot to grant their attribute boost, and an upgradable one was a steal beyond words. At level 0 the Heaven Mystic token already gave a hefty bonus. He could scarcely imagine how terrifying its stats would be once it leveled. He stowed it at once, and his attributes shot up again. Name. Big Gun. Level. 99.9%. Class. Non-combat. HP. 1,850 Stamina. 1,300 Attack. 190 plus 70 Defense. 165 plus 70. Attack speed bonus. 25% movement speed bonus. 15%. Combat attributes. Strength. 190 Constitution. 165 Agility. 150 Intelligence. 120 Spirit. 120. Fixed attributes. Charm. 15 Luck. 30. Talents. Penetration. Block. Combo. Skills. Second Nature. Charging Wolf. The plus 100 base bonus sent his stats soaring. Beyond his durability, his speed climbed sharply too. In Heaven's Descent, every 20 points of agility raised a player's attack speed, movement speed, and crit chance by 1%. With a full 150 agility now, modest gains in themselves, but paired with the system's acceleration, it was a different story altogether. Between gear and system, his peak attack speed had reached 14 strikes a second. A truly terrifying figure. Now, off to hunt bosses. The corner of his mouth curled. The monsters outside Sunward Town had turned violent for one root reason, the Calamity's demonic aura. So to collect Calamity demonic aura, high-level, high-grade bosses were the obvious targets. Sunward Town was a starter village, so by common sense its monsters capped at level 10, its bosses at level 15. He bought a monster distribution map from the general store, swept his eyes over it, and fixed on one spot, the Shadowmurk Forest. A level 10 zone, the highest level wild area around Sunward Town, and the most heavily polluted by Calamity demonic aura. 3 kinds of monster dwelled there: the bloody maneater flower, the shadow cat demon, and the venomous mad wolf. There, Ryan would seek the 5 strands of Calamity demonic aura to break the seal beneath Sunward Town. He had to hurry, because he intended to be the first player to reach level 10. Not only because it would send his fame soaring and make the studio money more easily, but because the system reward for the first to hit level 10 was, to him, intensely tempting. Getting that reward meant a great deal. No matter what, it had to be his. Eyes firm, he raced toward the spot marked on the map. Field Black Iron Boss first kill. The Shadowmurk Forest lay shrouded in miasma year-round, and with its dense trees, the whole region was dim, vision badly choked. System. Ding. You have entered the Shadowmurk Forest. Affected by the forest's miasma, HP decreases by 1 per second. Asterisk. By rights, a normal level 10 player, geared, had around 200 HP. A 1 per second drain meant they could last only about 3 minutes here, which meant entering the Shadowmurk Forest required ample healing potions, or you'd be the frog in slowly boiling water, dead before you knew it. For Ryan, it was different. Among his 3 early talents was Block, which auto-negated 20 of any incoming damage, so the miasma's drain couldn't touch him at all. He plunged straight in, driving toward the bloody maneater flower's gathering ground marked on the map. Soon the woods thinned a little, the trees growing taller and straighter. Rustle, asterisk ahead, in a miasma-wreathed clearing, a cluster of bloody maneater flowers, thick-stalked, 2 meters tall, drifted about aimlessly, their bloody maws splitting open to bare jagged fangs that gleamed cold from afar, chilling to behold. Drip. Viscous saliva fell to the ground, eating into the turf, sending up a wisp of green vapor that merged with the surrounding miasma. System. Ding. You have entered a maneater flower dense zone. Miasma concentration increased. HP decreases by 3 per second. Asterisk. A normal player here, forget the flowers, attacks, couldn't survive a minute on the miasma alone without supplies. But for Ryan, 3 a second was nothing. Snap. He stepped on a twig by accident, and in the silent woods it rang out sharp and clear. Roar. Sure enough, 3 bloody maneater flowers nearby were drawn by the sound. With a screech, they split their maws wide and lunged. Bloody maneater flower. A maneater flower infected by calamity demonic aura, savage by nature. Level 10, HP 480, attack 50, defense 30, skills, rend, bloodsuck. Asterisk. The corner of Ryan's mouth curled. With his attack and defense both topping 200, these were beneath mention. Black iron longsword in hand, he stepped in to meet them, his blade weaving a flurry of afterimages. 14 strokes a second. In less than half a second, all 3 lay dead. They dropped 3 silver coins, a basic recovery potion, and a common grade greave. Ryan swept it up and strode openly into the flowers, gathering ground. Cutting through the chaos like a hot knife, 14 strokes a second, paired with his 10x movement speed, his kill efficiency was absurd. In under 10 minutes, over 300 bloody maneater flowers in the area lay dead. 5 gold, a stack of basic recovery potions, 100 bottles, and 10 common grade pieces. He stowed it all, his bag nearly full again. 20 slots really weren't enough. He'd have to spend on a bag expansion soon, or at this kill speed and luck, it would fill in no time. Worth noting too, with over 300 flowers slain, Plunder had raised his strength, agility, and constitution by 5 each, a small but real boost. Pressing on through the miasma, he reached the end of his sight, a miasma-choked valley, a thick reek of blood spreading from it, sickening to the senses. System. Ding. You have entered the Bloody Flower King's lair. Affected by the bloody miasma, HP decreases by 5 per second. Asterisk. Roar. The instant he entered, a deafening screech erupted. He looked, and through the valley's heavy reek, a maneater flower the size of a 2-story building came lunging at him. Bloody Flower King, Black Iron Boss, a maneater flower king gravely infected by calamity demonic aura, no small power. HP 24,000, attack 100, defense 60, skills, Bloody Rend, Bloodsuck, Thorn Pierce, Bloody Shroud. Asterisk. A Black Iron Boss. Ryan gave an inward nod of approval. Different boss grades dropped gear of corresponding grades on death, so to him, the Bloody Flower King wasn't a headache, but a delivery of black iron gear about to land in his hands. How many pieces will it cough up? He was full of anticipation. The Bloody Flower King had 50 times the HP of a common flower, double the attack and defense, and a few powerful skills besides. None of it daunted Ryan in the least. Kill. 1 stroke for over 200 damage. Paired with his blistering attack speed and the combo talent, his damage climbed higher and higher as the seconds passed. Roar. Driven back step by step, the Bloody Flower King finally loosed a furious bellow and unleashed a skill. A vast cloud of bloody reek sprayed from its maw, blanketing the valley, choking off vision and hiding the boss in the blood fog. System. Ding. Affected by the skill Bloody Shroud, HP decreases by 50 per second for 10 seconds. Asterisk. The prompt sounded, and 30-point damage numbers finally floated up over Ryan's head. It was a wide area skill covering the whole valley, and under Bloody Shroud his movements slowed a touch. If this hit a normal party, they'd be wiped on the spot. 50 a second. Without good gear and supplies, no one could last the full 10. But with HP near 2000, the attack was a tickle. Swish, swish, swish. Suddenly, blades of wind pierced the blood fog from every direction, thorns sharp as sword edges launching indiscriminate stabs across the valley. Thorn Pierce. Summons thorns for a 3-stage piercing attack, dealing 100%, 150%, and 200% true physical damage to targets in range. Asterisk. -80, -130, -180. 3 numbers floated up, dropping Ryan's HP by nearly 400 more. Now it's getting interesting. His gaze sank, and he grew serious. Tracking the sound, he quickly pinned down the Bloody Flower King's position and struck with precision. Shing. One thrust caught the boss at a vital point, force interrupting its skill. The blood fog slowly thinned, and the Bloody Flower King stood exposed before him once more. Striking while the iron was hot, Ryan's black iron longsword swept in like a gale, grinding the boss down and finally cutting it from the world. Boom. The boss burst, loot scattering across the ground, and a sweet system prompt rang in Ryan's ears. System. Ding. Congratulations on completing a field black iron boss first kill. Reward. 5 free attribute points, 2000 reputation. Asterisk. System. Ding. Plunder successful. Strength plus 10. Constitution plus 10. Agility plus 10. Asterisk. System. Ding. Plunder successful. You obtained the skill, Thorn Pierce. Asterisk. What? It plundered the skill. Ryan paused, then opened his attribute panel. This. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 16, System Level 3. ### System Level 3. Ryan froze, because the system bound to his soul had reached Level 3, unlocking a brand new function. Infinite Plunder and Acceleration System. Level 3. Plunder. Can plunder all things. Currently unlocked. Attribute Plunder, Express Plunder, Skill Plunder. Asterisk. Acceleration. Can accelerate all things. Currently unlocked. 10x attack speed, 10x movement speed, 10x casting speed. Asterisk. Asterisk Express. 0.1 millionths. At level 3, the leveling Express had jumped tenfold again, and Plunder and Acceleration had each gained one more ability. He turned his eyes to Skill Plunder, and the method surfaced in his mind. Skill Plunder. On killing an enemy, player or monster, a very low chance to plunder one of their skills. Plundered skills can be refined into skill points to enhance other skills. Note. Plunder success rate rises sharply against boss tier monsters. Asterisk. Then his gaze moved to asterisk 10x casting speed, and a look of shock crossed his face. 10x casting speed. Casting speed increased tenfold, skill cooldown rate also increased tenfold. Asterisk. This new acceleration was tremendously powerful. In the world of Heaven's Descent, skills came in two kinds, those with cooldowns and those without. But aside from a small handful of instant cast skills, most required some casting time. Take the most basic fireball. It had no cooldown, yet a single cast normally took about a second. Not so for Ryan. With 10x casting speed, he could fire 10 fireballs a second, a genuine fireball bomber. And even for cooldown skills, the tenfold cooldown rate let him cycle them far better, creating more chances to attack. The skill he'd just plundered from the Bloody Flower King was a textbook example. Thorn Pierce. Summons thorns for a 3-stage piercing attack, dealing 100%, 150%, and 200% true physical damage to targets in range. Cooldown. 10 minutes. Asterisk. A 10-minute cooldown, under the cooldown rate bonus, dropped to 1/10, just 1 minute. That hugely boosted the skill's value. And in the later game, some powerful skills had cooldowns of several days. There, the effect would be all the more striking. This was only level 3, and the bonuses were already this sharp. How heaven-defying would higher levels be? Ryan was sorely tempted, itching to push the system to level 4 and see what surprises awaited. But that was wishful thinking. Level 4 took a million express, still a tall order for him now. So what if he couldn't change into a combat class? With the infinite plunder and acceleration system, his freedom was greater. Short on attribute points. Kill and plunder. Can't learn a skill. Plunder that too. Add the various acceleration boosts, and his all-around strength was who knew how many times that of other players. For him, Heaven's Descent had become a grind game. Lacking something, go farm it, crude and simple. The constraints of level mattered far less to him now. Aside from gear level requirements, only certain dungeon and map level gates still affected him. Skills and attributes, he needn't consider at all. Killing the Bloody Flower King had netted 6 common grade and 2 black iron grade pieces. His bag couldn't hold it all, so he opened his friends list and entered the group chat. Big gun. I've got a batch of gear here, anyone want it? Rose Whisper. Me. Still Night Chill. Stats. Drifting Snow. Gear. Wonderful. Big gun. Bloody Vine Armor, Black Iron, Vine Greaves Common, Vine Runners Common. Rose Whisper. Black Iron Grade. Give it here. I want it. Still Night Chill. Look closer. Level 10 gear. We can't wear it. Rose Whisper. Then I'll hold it and wear it at level 10. Drifting Snow. Forget it. By the time we hit level 10, This gear will have depreciated, better to sell it now. Violet Cloud song. Right. Sell it, and pass a suitable gear when you've got it. Big gun. Got it. He closed the chat, then messaged Violet and mailed her the gear he didn't need, 2 gold in fees. Soon, another million Azure coin landed in his account. Bloodsuck ring, black iron, a ring with lifesteal. Attacks carry a 10% lifesteal effect. Asterisk. This was one of the 2 black iron pieces the Bloody Flower King had dropped. The Bloody Vine armor he'd sold to Violet, while this ring he kept for himself. He also sent the 10 gold the boss dropped to the group as a lucky packet. It was the early game. Everyone in the studio was short on cash, so the gold would go a long way toward keeping Rosalind and the others developing smoothly, a real boon to the studio's growth. As one of its shareholders now, he knew that getting the studio on track to make money meant the early investment was unavoidable. Big gun. Keep it up, everyone. Packet sent and a word of encouragement given, he closed the chat. Venom potion. Applied to a weapon, adds 50 poison damage for 60 seconds. Asterisk. Bloody Maneater flower seed. On use, summons a Bloody Flower King to fight alongside you for 30 minutes. Asterisk. These were the boss's other 2 drops, 3 potions and a single seed. But none of them were the purpose of Ryan's trip to the Shotomerk forest. He went to the Bloody Flower King's corpse and hacked it apart, again and again, until a strand of purple-black aura lay exposed among the fragments. Calamity Demonic Aura. The demonic aura the Calamity race uses to control others. Asterisk. That was it. His gaze sank as he drew out an empty vial and sealed the strand inside. He needed 5 in all. Collect 4 more, and the task was done. Opening the map and getting his bearings, he raced off toward his next target without pause. Every second counted. To be the first to level 10 and claim the reward he wanted, he couldn't afford to slack. The underworld. In under an hour, the Venom Wolf King and the Shadowcat Demon King both fell to Ryan, yielding a heap of loot. After offloading it all, his account balance hit a full 5 million Azure coin. On top of that, he'd plundered some attributes and skills from the 2 bosses. Shadow Raid. Movement speed instantly plus 100%, next basic attack plus 100%, with a knockback effect. Cooldown. 1 minute. Asterisk. Summon Venom Wolves. Summons 3 Venom Wolves to fight alongside you. Their level matches the user's. Their stats are 30% of the summoner's panel. Duration. 100 seconds. Cooldown. 1 minute. Asterisk. 2 new skills, plus the earlier Thorn Pierce, meant the 3 bosses had granted him 3 skills total. The Shadowcat Demon King and the Venom Wolf King had each yielded 2 Calamity Demonic Aura, so with the one from the Bloody Flower King, he now had all 5. He drew the Heaven Mystic token from his bag and gripped it tight. Asterisk. A mysterious ripple of energy welled up from deep in his chest, and behind his closed eyes, 3 wisps of pale yellow vapor suddenly glowed. Heaven Mystic Chi. Asterisk. His eyes snapped open and fell to the map, where 3 faint points of light shone in a patch of overgrown weeds behind Sunward Town. The entrance must be there. His gaze sharpened, his hands clenching. Soon he'd have the Heaven Mystic Chi, refine the power of the first Heaven Mystic rune, and the level shackle would shatter, sending him straight to level 10 on the express he'd banked. The corner of his mouth curled, and he set off fast for the marked spot. Quite a few players racing to level had already hit level 9, the pressure was real. The southwest corner of Sunward Town held an abandoned courtyard, choked with weeds and utterly lifeless. Wild grass grew taller than a man, dense enough to block the view. But with map and token both guiding him, Ryan soon stood on the ground directly above the 3 strands of Heaven Mystic Chi, where, of all things, there was another old well. Unlike the one at Sunward Town's gate, this one was clearly ruined, long abandoned. A glance down showed no bottom at all. By the map, the 3 strands lay in the space beneath the well. To be safe, he didn't leap in at once, but returned to the general store for several coils of rope and torches before coming back. He tied the rope off at the well's mouth and slid down. Each time a coil ran out, he knotted on a fresh one and kept descending. System. Ding. Oxygen poor environment, difficulty breathing. HP -1 per second. Asterisk. His torch guttered out in the thin air, leaving him to descend in the dark. System. Ding. Oxygen poor environment. Difficulty breathing. HP -2 per second. Asterisk. System. Ding. Down and down, until he'd used up 10 100-meter coils and the drain reached 20 per second, exactly what his block talent could negate. Looking down, he saw a faint crimson glow flickering at the black bottom. He stared. A door. This had to be it. Gauging the distance, Ryan gritted his teeth, let go of the rope, and dropped. Wind howled past his ears as he plummeted. Thud. A muffled impact, and a -300 damage number floated over his head. In-game pain was a tenth of reality's, but a 100-meter fall still made him grimace. That was 30 stories. Good thing he had gear stats in the game. In the real world, on his own attributes alone, a stunt like that would have put him in a hospital bed for a while. He brushed off the muck, stood, tipped back a potion, and restored his HP. With his cap now at 2,200 after killing the 3 Shotomerc bosses, 300 fall damage was nothing. Sealed door. A seal of the Calamity Legion. Breaking it requires consuming 5 strands of Calamity demonic aura. HP. 1,000,000. Defense. 1,000. Asterisk. With HP and defense that high, forcing the seal was clearly out of the question. So Ryan simply drew out the vial holding the 5 strands of Calamity demonic aura and hurled it at the crimson glowing door. The glass shattered with a crack, the 5 strands splashing across the door wrapped in crimson energy. Asterisk SSSS's, asterisk purple smoke rose, the red light on the door slowly faded. After about 5 minutes, the seal was fully broken. Asterisk creak. Asterisk Ryan pushed the door open. Before him stretched a vast space, dominated by a colossal drive mechanism the size of a mountain. Countless gears meshed together, filling more than half the cavern. For some reason, it sat dead silent, utterly still. Recalling the Heavenly Emperor's words about the 7 ancient towns, understanding dawned. 9 parts in 10, this was the device that had once driven Sunward Town in flight. If it were ever restarted, what might become of the town? Could it truly become a sky-born city again? Asterisk a familiar ripple of energy reached him. The Heaven Mystic token in his bag flared bright, and the heart of Heaven's punishment within him grew active. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 wisps of pale yellow vapor shot skyward from deep within the great device and hovered in midair, giving off a faint pulse of energy. Heaven Mystic Chi. Asterisk. Ryan's spirits surged. He needed only one to refine the first Heaven Mystic rune and break the heart's level shackle. Heart pounding, he strode forward. For him now, the Heaven Mystic Chi was within arm's reach. Ha, little human brat, you've trespassed. But just then, a sinister, eerie laugh rang out, freezing Ryan mid-step, as if facing a great enemy. The presence behind it was so strong he had to throw his whole guard up. Whoosh! Asterisk behind him, the purple smoke that had billowed up when the seal broke suddenly surged into the space, swept past him, and gathered together, coming to rest on an open patch of ground not far ahead. Source of Chaos Atropo's avatar. Grade. Gold boss level, 20. HP. 200,000. Stamina. 100,000. Attack. 450. Defense. 350. Skills. Chaos, Weaken, Corrosion, Abyssal Nightmare. A gold grade boss, no less. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 17, The Source of Chaos. A source of chaos from the Calamity Legion, no less. Ryan's gaze sank as he took in the boss blocking his path, surprise rising in his chest. A mere avatar, and yet it held the strength of a level 20 gold boss. Looks like leaving a strand of my soul source here was the right call. Sure enough, some ant gets a stroke of dumb luck and stumbles in. The source of chaos chuckled darkly, cold light spilling from its ghostly blue eyes. The power 5 strands of Calamity demonic aura provide is limited, but to deal with you, it's rather overkill. Ryan frowned. In his last life, when the Calamity Legion launched its great assault on the continent of Heaven's Descent, the Legion had numbered 5 million, all-powerful elites. And among that vast host, a handful of mighty generals had risen above the rest. The source of chaos was one of them. An avatar this might be, but it was not to be taken lightly. Summon Venom Wolves. Asterisk. Ryan struck first. Light flickered, and 3 level 9 elite Venom Wolves appeared before him. The skill went on cooldown, but under the system's acceleration, its 1-minute cooldown shrank to a mere 6 seconds. Venom Wolf Elite LV9. Attacks carry poison, ferocious in the extreme. HP 600, Attack 60, Defense 50, Skills, Charge, Maul, Venom. Asterisk. 3 elites. Though their stats couldn't compare to a boss's. Still, the wolves, stats scaled to Ryan's bear-geared attributes, set at 30% of his panel, which meant the stronger he grew, the stronger his wolves. Heh heh heh. Submit to the judgment of chaos. The source of chaos gave a low laugh, and a gray aura spread out, settling over the 3 wolves. System. Ding. Affected by the skill, Chaos, the Venom Wolves enter a chaotic state, attacking nearby targets indiscriminately for 10 seconds. Asterisk. In an instant the 3 wolves tore into one another, -10 asterisk damage numbers floating up off them. But that wasn't what mattered, because Ryan noticed the wolves' attack speed was fast as lightning. 7 or 8 strikes a second. So the system's acceleration works on summons too. That's downright filthy. His gaze sank, his mind stirring. Did that mean he could build a savage army of monsters? Thump, thump, thump. The source of chaos waved a hand, and 3 pale purple orbs struck the wolves. Under such crushing superiority, they dissolved into white light and died. Source of chaos Atropo's avatar. Grade. Gold boss level, 20. HP. 200,000 attack. 450 defense. 350. A panel like that, set before any other player right now, would have crushed their hope outright. Even Ryan's breathing grew heavy facing the source of chaos. He had his past life combat experience and a powerful panel, but he wasn't fully certain he could win, because as things stood, his attack couldn't pierce the boss's defense. To deal real damage, beyond the 20 true damage from his penetration talent, he had to rely on combo's bonus, stacking it over 100 consecutive hits to slowly build damage. But the source of chaos was a gold boss and a calamity general. With its own seasoned experience, it would never let him do so easily. It was no stationary target. And it was strong in its own right. Brat, prepare to be ground beneath the power of calamity. Cold light flared in the source of chaos's ghostly blue eyes, and a brown-yellow spiral beam fell from above, landing on Ryan. System. Ding. Affected by the skill, weaken. All your attributes drop by 50% for 30 seconds. Asterisk. Damn it. Ryan frowned and cursed inwardly. In his last life, the source of chaos had been the Calamity Legion's notorious team fight troll. In raw attack and burst it lagged behind the other generals, but its skills were a nightmare, because unlike ordinary, dodgeable skills, every one of the source of chaos's was target locked, a guaranteed hit. Pair that with its power to gut a target's strength, and in group fights it was a maddening presence. With his attributes halved, Ryan's attack dropped to just over 100. Now, to break the boss's defense, he'd need over 200 consecutive hits. That meant landing blows on the source of chaos for roughly 15 straight seconds without taking a single hit in return, all but impossible against a boss whose skills were nearly all target locked. Which meant, for now, Ryan could only chip away with the pitiful 20 penetration damage his talent offered. Against the boss's full 200,000 HP, that was 10,000 strikes worth. But the weaken lasted only half a minute, and if he remembered right, its cooldown was 5 minutes. So if he could just weather this stretch, his situation would improve a great deal. Heh heh heh, die in agony. The source of chaos raised both hands, and a green light fell on Ryan again. System. Ding. Affected by the skill, corrosion, HP -100 per second for 5 seconds. Asterisk. Damn it. Another target-locked skill. Ryan groaned inwardly. Corrosion was the source of chaos's main damage skill, with a 10-second cooldown, infuriating. With his HP at barely over 1,000 right now, 2 corrosions without timely healing would grind him to a sliver. Thankfully, the gray magic orbs from its basic attacks were non-targeted, so he could dodge those with footwork. Otherwise he'd have had no shot at a comeback at all. 20 damage is still damage. Better to strike than sit and die. The thought decided him. Summon Venom Wolves. Asterisk. 3 elite wolves appeared, and at Ryan's command lunged at the source of chaos from 3 different directions. He couldn't waste a summon every 6 seconds. Their stats couldn't dent the boss, but they could lock down its footwork, letting him pour out damage in comfort. Positioning. A skill any competent summoner had to master. His class last life hadn't been summoner, but he'd watched plenty of excellent ones fight, and putting their techniques to use now worked better than expected. Now, his gaze sank. The instant the boss was pinned, his blade became wind, and he closed in. Chapter 18, Killed It, just like that. Ryan's gaze sank as he raised his sword and closed in. Swish, swish, swish. In the blink of an eye, his blade became wind, and a string of damage numbers floated up off the source of chaos. They weren't high, only 20 apiece, but a dozen of them together topped 200. Cursed human ant. The source of chaos seethed. It hadn't expected this human, an insect in its eyes, not only to refuse to scurry for cover before its power, but to fight back. Worst of all, the brat was actually damaging its body. Nothing next to its 200,000 HP, true, but galling all the same. Chaos. Pinned by the three wolves, the source of chaos cast chaos again, trying to turn them on each other. But Ryan, striking at its side, had been waiting for exactly this. The instant the boss raised a hand to cast, he sank low, drove from the waist, and burst forward in a lunging stride. Shadow Raid. Movement speed instantly plus 100%, next basic attack plus 100%, with a knockback effect. Cooldown. 1 minute, asterisk, bang, minus 20. The source of chaos took the heavy blow, its body knocked back beyond its control, and its cast ruthlessly interrupted. Then, before the boss could recover, Ryan summoned his wolves to swarm it again, pinning it in place while he charged in, attacks falling like rain. Minus 20. Minus 20. Minus 20. AAARGH. The source of chaos flew into a rage. Toyed with again and again by a single ant, it lost its composure entirely, 3 gray orbs slamming into the 3 wolves at once. Minus 400. Minus 400. Minus 400. Asterisk. But the wolves had a 600 HP cap. Its basic attacks couldn't one-shot them, so its position stayed locked down tight. Seizing the chance, Ryan never let up, his blade weaving damage across the boss without pause. In 5 seconds, the source of chaos lost a full 1000 HP to his furious assault. At this rhythm, barring surprises, 20 minutes at most would see the boss dead. Thump, thump, thump. The source of chaos roared and loosed 3 more gray orbs at the wolves. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 flashes of white light, all 3 wolves dead. But under the system's acceleration, Summon Venom Wolves had just come off cooldown. Summon Venom Wolves. The corner of Ryan's mouth curled. He locked onto the wolves, previous blocking spots, recast, and dropped them right back into position, pinning the source of chaos anew while he hammered away, his blade falling like a driving storm. I'm at a disadvantage in stats, but I can win on technique. A bright glint crossed his eyes. He hadn't coasted through his last life. Before his end, he'd been the foremost swordsman of the Northern Desert Domain, and if not for a final betrayal, he'd never have lost his life at all. The rich combat experience of his last life found its use at last. The enemies he'd faced before hadn't needed his full attention, he could have cut them down with his eyes shut. But the source of chaos, hack blindly at it, and 100 lives wouldn't be enough. Against a strong foe, skill pairing and attack timing demanded real care. Mindless output was easily read, exploited, and crushed. Ryan's relentless pressure left the source of chaos in misery, but it also finally shed its contempt and braced for him in earnest. If it didn't get serious now, the brat would grind it to death. Of that it was now certain. From his eyes alone it could read Ryan's unwavering calm. To stay this focused, this cool-headed, even while holding every advantage, that was the combat quality of a first-rate expert. I underestimated you, brat. The source of chaos's gaze sank, its huge mouth splitting into a cruel arc. But human geniuses are all the sweeter to kill. Nightmare descends. Asterisk. Asterisk. A strange ripple of energy detonated outward from the source of chaos, thick purple aura scattering in all directions. The 3 blocking wolves were annihilated in an instant. The boss's 3-meter frame shrank as the purple spread, settling at the size of a normal human, the dense purple energy condensing into hard armor over its body, a formidable sight. Brat, now I'm serious. The source of chaos sneered. Part of the purple aura it had condensed into gear, the rest it used to reshape the battlefield, blanketing the area to tilt the fight in its favor. System. Ding. The source of chaos has cast. Nightmare descends. Its attack and defense rise 30%. The surrounding area is affected, becoming the realm of chaos, inflicting a 10-second debuff on enemies every 10 seconds. Asterisk. System. Ding. You are poisoned. HP minus 50 per second for 10 seconds. Asterisk. Ryan's gaze sank. He downed a recovery potion and an antidote, and his HP began to climb back. Nightmare descends. Finally, this stage. A flicker of delight crossed his eyes. Honestly, killing the source of chaos the normal way would have taken a good while and carried real risk during his skill dead windows. But now that the boss had unleashed its ultimate, everything changed. In his last life, the source of chaos had been a fearsome team fight troll, but it had one fatal weakness: it dreaded fire. Because the purple chaos aura wrapping it was flammable. Before it cast Nightmare Descends, he could still dodge with footwork. But now the surrounding area had become the realm of chaos, thick with chaos aura everywhere, and once ignited, it would set off a violent explosion. Add the 2 bronze fire seeds still on him, which dealt true damage, and amplified by the chaos aura, they were sure to maim the source of chaos. Seeing the moment ripe, Ryan said nothing and bolted for the edge of the realm of chaos. He meant to ignite the place, and he wasn't about to go up with it. Running. No chance. Spotting Ryan's retreat, the source of chaos sneered and gave chase. Thorn pierce. His gaze sank, and he cast on the instant. Countless black glowing thorns burst from nothing, shooting up from the ground to stab at the pursuing boss from every side. Minus 106. Minus 153. Minus 212. 3 true damage numbers floated up over the source of chaos, and its path was barred by the thorns interlaced before it. The 10x movement speed carried Ryan clear of the chaos aura zone in moments. Off you go. He whipped out his last 2 bronze fire seeds, flung them high, and pitched them into the purple-shrouded realm of chaos. Then he ran. Straight out the great door, slamming it shut behind him without a backward glance. Within the realm, the source of chaos had only just torn through the thornbush. Before it could take a step, 2 soybean-sized bronze fire seeds landed at its feet. This is. A single spark rose, and then a violent surge of flame shot skyward like a dragon of fire, igniting the surrounding chaos aura in an instant. The whole realm of chaos became a sea of fire in the blink of an eye. Boom, 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 boom. Asterisk. Explosion after explosion roared out. Ryan pressed himself against the door, hands jammed over his ears, feeling the waves of heat surging at his back, exhilaration soaring in his chest. Server announcement. Player, Big Gun, has slain the source of chaos Atropo's avatar, completing the server-wide first kill of a gold-grade boss. Reward. 5,000 reputation. 10 free attribute points. 1 golden war armor. 100 gold coins. Asterisk. The earth-shaking announcement made Ryan blink, a look of disbelief crossing his face. This, I one-shot the boss. Chapter 19. The talk of the town. Holy hell, who is this Big Gun? How's he this insane? First kill after first kill, it's almost too satisfying. This one's even fiercer. A gold boss, and it's only been a day since launch. How did he do it? Players grinding away to level were stunned dumb by the announcement. This Big Gun fellow really is stealing the whole show. In some nameless little town, a man in a white robe waved the folding fan in his hand and said to the stooped old man in gray beside him, "Elder Wind, who do you say is stronger, this person, or me?" In the real world, you'd win outright. In the game world, hard to say. The old man frowned, his voice grave. Interesting. Put that way, I find myself rather looking forward to it. A glint crossed the white-robed man's eyes, a flicker of excitement in their depths. He'd only taken up this game because Elderwind had dragged him into it. By the old man's account, the holographic game called Heaven's Descent would do much to strengthen him, but a full day in, the starter village monsters hadn't stirred the slightest interest. So he'd treated the place as a stroll for amusement, with no interest at all in leveling. "I think I'll go level up." The corner of his mouth curled as he decided. "Oh, seen the light?" Elder Wind asked with a smile. "I watched that Big Gun's video soloing the siege boss. Not bad. The man smiled faintly, folded his fan away, took up a longsword instead, and walked out of the starter village. Watching the white-robed figure recede, Elderwind let out a quiet breath of relief. The little terror was finally willing to play. The thought of how the man turned the real world upside down day in and day out gave him a headache. This works out. 2 birds with 1 stone. The old man smiled and followed. System. Ding. You have a new message. Accept. System. Ding. You have a new message. Accept. System. Ding. The prompts kept popping up until Ryan's scalp tingled. These people's assault was scarier than the gold boss. He rejected every message from strangers and finally breathed easier. To promote the studio, he had to make his name, so unless there was special cause, he didn't bother hiding his character name. He just hadn't expected this gold boss first kill to draw such a barrage. In the single minute since the announcement, his private messages had been pushed past 999 plus. Agencies wanting to package him into a star, guilds recruiting him, streaming platforms offering contracts, an endless flood of every kind. Drifting snow. Congratulations. Rose Whisper. Ryan, you're incredible. Wisp Cloud. Bro, you're amazing. The whole studio chat sent congratulations, until Ryan felt a little embarrassed. Honestly, he hadn't expected to kill the boss so fast either. He sent another lucky packet, then pushed open the great door and stepped back into the vast space behind it. A thick stench of smoke rolled over him. Cough, that's choking. He waited for the smoke to clear, then returned to the battlefield. There's nothing here. Ryan stared blankly at the bare ground, unable to gather his wits for a long moment. This is a rip-off. The loot had been outright destroyed by that violent explosion. A bitter smile tugged at his lips. This was a gold boss first kill. By rights it should have dropped no end of good things. Instead, 2 bronze fire seeds, and it was all gone. And because he'd killed the boss with an item, the system's plunder hadn't triggered either, so in the end, beyond the system's first kill reward, he came away empty-handed. Who do I even complain to about this? Ryan could have wept. Even if he didn't use that loot himself, just selling it would have earned a fortune, and with his luck so high, the drop rate would have been explosive. A real loss this time. But what was done. Regret changed nothing. So he could only smile wryly at the lone 100 gold and the single piece of armor glowing golden in his bag, and sigh to himself. Golden War Armor. A hardcore ass forged with gold enchantment. Lavish, imposing, top tier. Grade. Gold. Attributes. HP plus 2000, Stamina plus 1000, Defense plus 200, Base Attributes plus 30. Golden War Song. Active skill. On activation, enter a buffed state. Attack plus 500, Defense plus 500, for 60 seconds. Cooldown. 5 hours. Equip level. 20. A fine piece, though it required level 20 to equip. Even with second nature lowering the requirement by 5, he'd have to wait until level 15. Composing himself, Ryan walked deeper into the space. He'd come down here for the Heaven Mystic Chi, after all. He looked up at the 3 wisps of pale yellow Heaven Mystic Chi floating in midair and reached out to grasp one. Swish. The instant his palm touched it, a warm sensation spread up his arm and flowed into every limb and bone. The 3 wisps slowly sank into his body. Time passed. Half an hour went by. System. Ding. Congratulations, you have successfully refined the Heaven Mystic Chi and unlocked the first Heaven Mystic Rune of the Heart of Heaven's Punishment. The level shackle is temporarily lifted. System. Ding. HP plus 1000, Stamina plus 1000, Base Attributes plus 100, Fixed Attributes plus 10. A mighty, nameless power swept through him, drawing an involuntary, blissful groan from his lips. System. Ding. Congratulations, you have reached level 10. System. Server announcement. Player Big Gun has reached level 10. As the first level 10 player in the 9 provinces server, reward, 3000 reputation. 10 free attribute points, 100 gold coins, talent, ambidexterity, *. The server announcement rang out again, and the forums boiled over anew. From launch until now, not even a full day, Big Gun had been all high notes from start to finish, monopolizing nearly every piece of explosive news in the 9 provinces, Heaven's Descent. 4 server announcements in one day, and every one of them his. It drove countless players wild. Damn, nobody stop me. From today on, Big Gun is my idol. Big Gun's so cool, if only I could be his sister, boo-hoo. Anyone know which guild Big Gun's in? I want to roll with him. He's amazing, comma. While the forums blazed with talk of him, the man of the hour himself was already over the moon. Ha ha ha. Hard work pays off. Level 10 at last. Refining the Heaven Mystic Chi had not only sharply raised his attributes but granted a super talent he dreamed of, ambidexterity. For Ryan right now, only one word could describe his mood. Exhilarating. Asterisk. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 20. Hidden Main Quest. Ambidexterity was a unique talent. In all the world of Heaven's Descent, only the first player to reach level 10 could earn it through a system reward. Ambidexterity. Your 2 hands may equip different weapons and perform attacks independently, without interfering with one another. Asterisk. With this talent, Ryan could hack with a blade in one hand while casting a skill with the other, crossfire, seamless. At its simplest, he could dual-wield and enjoy the system's 10x attack speed bonus on both hands at once. Which meant his effective attack speed had just doubled. For him, that was tremendous. And the benefits of ambidexterity ran far deeper than they first appeared, otherwise it would never have stood out among countless top-tier talents in his last life. Beyond the talent, his biggest gain was a sharp rise in attributes. After the Heaven Mystic Chi's bonuses and the system rewards free points, his panel grew stronger still. Name: Big Gun. Level: 10. Class: Non-combat. HP: 3100 3100. Stamina: 2300 2300. Attack: 310 plus 70. Defense: 290 plus 70. Base attributes: Strength: 310. Constitution: 290 Agility, 270 Intelligence, 220 Spirit, 220. Fixed attributes: Charm, 25 Luck, 60. Talents: Ambidexterity, Penetration, Block, Combo. Skills: Second Nature, Charging Wolf, Thorn Pierce, Shadow Raid, Summon Venom Wolves. Stats like these could rival some bosses. Done at last, Ryan exhaled, ready to leave the space. But just then, the once-dead colossal drive mechanism kindled a pale blue glow, its gears creeping into motion with a creaking groan of meshing machinery. Adventurer, thank you for lifting the Calamity Legion's seal for me. A machine-like voice rose slowly through the space. My name is Sunward. I am this town's drive core. Too long has passed, however, my energy is all but spent, and I can no longer keep the mechanism running. So I hope you can help me. System. Ding. Hidden Main Quest. Reviving the 7 ancient towns. Triggered. Accept. Asterisk. A prompt sounded, and Ryan blinked. Reviving the 7 ancient towns. And a hidden main quest, no less. Accept. Without a shred of hesitation, he took it. Hidden main quests were brutally hard, but their rewards were correspondingly lavish, the kind of quest anyone could only dream of stumbling upon. Don't worry. Tell me whatever you need, and I'll do all I can to help. My thanks. I am only half awakened. I need a great deal of energy to fully recover. So I hope you can gather enough drive energy for me. System. Ding. Ring 1 of Reviving the 7 Ancient Towns, unlocked. Asterisk. Reviving the 7 Ancient Towns main quest, unique hidden quest. The Calamity Legion returns. The 7 ancient towns, asleep for 10,000 years, must be roused to resist the Legion's advance. As the one chosen by a town spirit, you bear the duty of reviving them all. The quest has 7 rings. This is Ring 1. Asterisk. Ring 1 objective. Replenish the Sunward Spirit's energy so the town's drive mechanism can run again. Time limit: 1 month. Reward: unknown. Failure penalty: base attributes minus 50%. Asterisk. A month. Not long, not short. What do you need to restore your energy? Anything that can provide energy will do. That's an awfully broad range. Ryan frowned. Don't worry. Once my energy reserves reach a certain figure, I can run the mechanism to draw power from the sun and sustain myself. So you need only gather enough energy to start the mechanism. And how much energy do you need in all? 1 million energy points. How much is that, exactly? Take the fire seeds you used earlier. A fire seed of that grade provides me 100 energy points. Ryan's mouth twitched. In other words, he'd need 10,000 bronze fire seeds to finish the quest. At 10 minutes per seed, that was 100,000 minutes of unbroken, full focus refining. Even without eating, drinking, or sleeping, keeping himself at peak focus the whole time, it would take 70 days, more than double the 1-month limit. Of course, that's only an example. If you have other items or gear, you may refine those for my energy as well, the Sunward Spirit went on. In principle, starting from black iron grade, each step up in item or gear grade raises the energy it provides. Generally, black iron yields about 10 energy points, bronze 100, silver 500, gold 5,000, amethyst 50,000, obsidian 500,000, and a single celestial grade item fills the reserve outright. So you have many options. The corner of his mouth twitched. Take the best he had on him. The gold grade armor. Just to provide enough energy to start the mechanism would take a full 200 gold pieces. And gold gear had a price but no market. A single piece might fetch 10 million Azure coin. 200 of them came to 2 billion Azure coin. Who could shoulder that? The energy from the fire seed explosion only roused me briefly. Spent now, I must sink back into sleep. Take this teleport token. You may return here anytime. The Sunward Spirit's voice grew fainter, until it faded from the whole space, and the pale blue glow on the mountainous mechanism winked out with it. Clink. An antique token clattered to the ground before Ryan. Sunward token. Sunward Town's core token. On use, teleports you to the secret underground space of Sunward Town. Asterisk. Sigh. Nothing for it. One step at a time. Ryan smiled wryly and stowed the token. It was a hidden main quest. After all, it would hardly do for it to be easy. And looked at another way, in a game the harder the quest, the richer the reward. By that logic, the reward for reviving the 7 ancient towns had to be absurdly good. Besides, even if he failed, the penalty was just a 50% drop in base attributes, and with the system, he need only go grind and plunder more. No real problem. A glance at the time. Evening already. There was still a good while before he'd hand the quest off to Victor Fane, so he simply returned to the secret chamber deep in Fane's residence and, racing the clock, set to refining bronze fire seeds. Whether for the hidden quest or for future battles, they were a fine item to have. But as Ryan settled in to work the bellows and master the flame, a stunning discovery left him wild with joy. It can be done like this. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon.